How's it going, everyone? This is Miles with Windows Central Gaming, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Lou Nascimento and Zach Soares of Bunnyhug Games to talk about their adorable upcoming fishing title, Moonglow Bay. So to get started, can you give players a quick breakdown of what Moonglow Bay is and what players can expect from this experience?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So, Moonglow's a slice of life fishing RPG. The base premise of it is that think of it more just like, oh man, it's been a while. It's a very laid back.
Your partner's lost at sea.
Yeah, your partner's lost at sea, and you kind of from this you're distraught, and for about 3 years you kind of sulk, and your daughter comes back from university. And is ready to get into the workforce and stuff, but notice that is annoyed by the fact that you're sulking for 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey.
So she's like, let's go fishing like you guys were intended to. Let's run this shop that you guys plan to do, and let's fill this journal.
Yeah, pull out this journal that your partner, mom or dad, gave before they passed, and see what they have. Like maybe there's a little message, and there's a little message in it telling you hey, we're in this, even though I might not be here, I'm always here with you. And then so you kind of have this personal motivation to go and fish at sea, figure out what exactly happened to your partner, and uncover
this journal,
uncover all the wildlife and the creatures at sea. So that's the base premise. But all while this is happening, the town itself is kind of going through its own rough patch, where think of it like they have their own centennial coming up and to celebrate, but they might not even make it because they might go bankrupt at the time. Everyone's afraid of going to the ocean because your partner was the most experienced fisherman.
And they disappeared.
And now they're gone. It's like, well, if they're gone at sea, I'm not gonna have a chance. So everyone's afraid, and all of the myths and rumors that linger about have become more and more living into space. And so you're kind of there to be to kind of fight them, and be you know what? I'll help you guys realize that this is not.
Help the town.
These myths aren't true, and in doing that, as you're building up your shop, as you're getting money from catching fish and selling them, you're reinvesting into the town, and everyone kind of gets their own confidence back, and so that's the whole.
And the loop
premise.
Is you fish, you cook, and then you sell in a vending machine.
You buy equipment to improve your fishing, so you can go on even further distances, fish for longer, and get more comfortable with your tools, really. But yeah,
beautiful. That sounds great. So there's it seems like a lot more depth to it than just the fishing elements, which is great to hear. So what are each of your roles when it comes to bringing this vivid world to life?
Yeah. So my title is creative director, but I wear a lot of hats. Everyone on our team does, but because we're so few, I do the 3D art. So all the voxel art you see, it's all made from me. I do the game design, the lead game design of the game. For a time I did a bit of the animation stuff, but we hired some additional animators to help me out.
My title is art director, but I do everything that is 2D, so illustrations, I do UI, I do UX design as well, and I do 2D animation / VFX. So and concept art as well.
Nice. Before this I was going through the list and looking at the team, and it's pretty small group for this project.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's it's one of those things that at first you're like, I can do this, and as you go through the project and you age, you realize you don't have the energy you did when you first started. You're like, man, I should have taken that into account.
We used to be even smaller team, but
we started off with just 3 of us, and now we're 6. 6, 7 of the core team, and then our publisher helps with all of the external aspects of making a game that people tend to forget about.
On paper it's we got this, just a small group, no problem, and then you get into it and you're like, okay, maybe we do need a little help to get this done.
Yeah, exactly.
So on the surface, it's pretty easy to compare Moonglow Bay to beloved franchises like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, but in your eyes, what are the elements that set your game apart?
Well, that's a good question for you.
Well, for one, those games kind of ours has a very core story that exists throughout the whole game. It's a large part of the game. That's what's going to carry you throughout it. Even though it's an RPG, the story matters a lot to the game. There's a lot of additional elements with the town itself and its external factors. Mechanically, the fishing for one is a lot more fleshed out. We're not kind of focusing on the mini game aspect of fishing. It's a little bit more than that, but it's not simulation as well, so it's not going to be too overbearing with like so many little bits you need to take into account.
And I also like to think that Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley, for example, are games that one of the mechanics that are kind of hidden is time management, which doesn't happen as much with our game because we want it to be like really relaxing and we want to focus more on the like expanding your community and helping your community as that hidden mechanic rather than
like there's no like if you've ever played the first few Harvest Moons, and I even still think they do with the current ones. There's a time like deadline essentially.
It's the very first Harvest Moon.
Yeah, the first one was like there was a 1 year and that was it. 2 years. Sorry, that was it. Whereas ours, like we don't really.
I played many times.
Yeah, like there's time that passes in our game, but we don't really take that into account as the like you need to beat the game in 100 in-game days. That doesn't happen. You can kind of take your time with it, go throughout it.
And also the days are not very rushed either. Like
no. Like the actual like in-game time is what 15 minutes or so.
Like a day is 15 minutes.
Yeah, a day is 15 minutes in real life, so we're not rushing you too much.
Cool. No, the vibe of the first trailer you guys showed off was very laid back, and it seems like that's kind of the appeal of this. So that's really great to hear, because as much as I love, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, games like that, yeah, there is that time crunch, and you got chores you have to do in a set period of time, and you got to get it done. So there's always that pressure with those games.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Sometimes you want to get to the other side of town and it takes you the entire day and you lost your day of farming.
Yeah, no, we were playing recently and that was exactly the experience we had. I was like, isn't it right? Because like, yes, you might spend a day going out fishing and stuff, but you not lost much. Like things had like not so much has occurred in that one day that you're like, oh great, there's a festival coming up now and I'm late by everything. And it's like, no, that won't happen.
Okay, cool. So fishing is obviously a huge part of the hook of Moonglow Bay. What are the games that inspired this, and which games, in your opinion, have the best fishing mechanics?
Oh, for inspiration,
Legend of the River King. Oh yeah, for sure. Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing.
Yes. Animal Crossing was like more the instant gratification that comes from it. So like the fact that like the little fish comes in and it snaps and you've got it.
In the way that it's diegetic rather than having like a mini game UI that you look through instead of actually like interacting with the fish.
Yeah,
itself.
so like the core of our fishing is diegetic. There's some be some like QT elements within that after the fact as you progress. But like for the most part, it's pretty.
There are mini games, but it's not the core mechanic.
Exactly, yeah. With like Legend of River King, it was more how that integrated with the whole of the game itself, the whole world, and that's like how they very much made it an RPG with fishing.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like what games have the best fishing, one of my favorites is Final Fantasy 15. Mostly because like they really go like just kind of wacky with it. It isn't like, even with that being my favorite, it didn't handle the like directional aspect of fishing well. Like when a fish goes a specific direction, you don't know what side to pull, and it's not really clear. Because they make the line like a wire or razor wire. But either way, it's like. That was really fun. Though. It's still really fun. Yeah. And
for me it's I'm not a big fan of fishing mini games because I'm very impatient and I don't have any dexterity whatsoever. So the Animal Crossing one is the one that hits the nail in the head for me.
Yeah.
Because
so it's like oddly enough, it's like a hit right between those two. It's like taking the diegetic of Animal Crossing with the wacky, with the like fun that I find in Final Fantasy. Yeah. And like oftentimes I would reference that with our team, being like, we like this kind of mood and all that, and yeah. So that would be my favorite. A lot of other games, like so many games now are doing fishing, and they all kind of like hit this like baseline of like what is fun in fishing. I remember Far Cry when that one came out. Everyone was talking about the fishing in that, and they were all playing it, and it's like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I'm like, yeah, but that was like very sim. But yeah, they're all fun. I don't know. I personally can't hate on fishing games.
Beautiful. Moonglow Bay is launching into Xbox Game Pass on day 1. What's your experience been like working with Xbox? And what's the most appealing aspect of launching a game into Xbox Game Pass?
Well, working with them, you'd think that you were never working with them because they're so like they sit back and they just let you do your thing, and when you're ready to kind of go about launching it.
I appreciate the trust.
They put a lot of trust in you in that regard. And what was the second half of the question?
Oh yeah, second half is what's the most appealing aspect of launching a game into Xbox Game Pass?
I think there's two aspects for me, at least. There's like the fact that so many people are gonna get access to your game so promptly. People that maybe would never search for your game, they see in the screen, they're like, oh my god, maybe I'm gonna give it a try. And maybe they're gonna find the niche of game that they actually like just by virtue of being in front of them. And like on the dev aspect, the stability that we get, like being able to
because with all there's always a deal that's arranged to get on Game Pass and stuff, and like Xbox doesn't expect you to do this for free, so they kind of give you a little bit of something to kind of incentivize it, and that's always comforting. But
especially a very small studio.
Yeah, a very small studio like ours, I think it's like super ideal for indies. And for me, I really like the accessibility to it. The same with like how Lou said it. Like depending on what level of Game Pass you're getting, it can be about five a month, and honestly, that's all people can sometimes spend on games. And the fact that they still have access to ours is fantastic. And it's like, hey, you don't have to buy the game new. You just take it. It's there. Give it a try. And maybe like that's why you put in features like having us like ours having co-op. Maybe you're gonna start like telling a friend, hey, come and play with me, and then they'll want to take it and play at home, and they're gonna go by that whole loop of spreading the games. Like that's kind of like the hope, and it's a good entry point, honestly.
That's beautiful to hear, because I mean that's kind of what Microsoft has been touting is like the benefit of Xbox Game Pass is like opening up games to a wider audience. And people do have a limited amount of financial resources. They can't buy every single game, even though they might want to. So it's cool to hear that there's these experiences that you guys are benefiting from this as well. So I love to hear that, because again, that has been the promise of Xbox, and I want to believe that is the case. So it's great to hear more and more people come out and share their experiences with Xbox Game Pass. So for players like myself who can't wait to cast their lines and catch some fish, when can we expect to get our hands on this game?
Oh, it's gonna be this year.
We don't have a date yet. It's gonna be in 2021 though. You can get on Xbox Game Pass on the consoles themselves on Steam first day, and also it's gonna come out on the Epic Game Store as well.
Yeah.
But
it will be this year. That's what we can guarantee.
Sometime this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Cool. Love to hear it. So before I let you guys go, what is the one thing you're most excited for players to experience in your game for the very first time?
For me, the various worlds within Moonglow. So like it's not just a regular ocean. It gets weird, and I cannot wait.
It starts grounded on like a real world, like it's Canada in 1980s, and then it gets weirder as it goes.
Yeah, like some people I might have seen on social media, like some of the fish we have are really weird, like a balloon shark. It looks like a red balloon you can hold, and it's like, what? How does this exist? And it's like, so try imagining the world that it would live in, and then so we get a little wacky, and I can't wait to see people go into that space and think, what is going on here?
Yeah. For me, it's like it is a much smaller feature, but just being able to connect with your neighbors and like befriending them is something that I really loved on every single. All of those slice of life games is the thing that I love the most. So
we put tons of story into like some like side characters and stuff. So I can't wait to
for people to find out their stories would be really nice.
Oh, totally.
Awesome. No, love to hear it. So Lou and Zach, thanks so much for taking some time to sit down and chat with me today. It was an absolute treat. I can't wait to play this game. If you're a fan of wholesome games with a ton of fishing, be sure to keep an eye on Moonglow Bay. And thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Thank you. See ya.